You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
How many of you remember the movie It's a Bug's Life? I remember when it came out. I even watched it again at school. And you know how schools get lazy and they have you all watch movies in class while the teacher do God knows what? Yeah, that's when I rewatched it. And since I'm older, I realized how frustrating it was. Knowing that the ants didn't have to be bullied around like that. If you think about it, the ants was strong. Small, but strong in numbers. They were mighty. They were stronger than what they thought they were, but they had them bitch ass grasshoppers. I realized that Bug's Life reminds me of us, our society. Think about it. First, we meet the ant colony. You watch how they have a system which heavily relies on teamwork. That's what we do at our jobs. Whether we work together or not, all of us working simultaneously together. As far as the sanitation workers to transportation, people at the bank, people at the airline industry, all of us are working together for the man. Man as in United States of America, the corporation, the big corporation. Did y'all know that? I was so impressed with the tools that they use, and the ants made sure that they invented new things to make their job more effective, more easy, more faster. Later you found out they were doing all of this because the grasshoppers and the ants collect this food for them, which kind of irks my nerves because I was over here like, I know how it feels to be hoed around. I'm not gonna go deep into that. After the food was collected, one of the ants, Flick, accidentally knocked all of the collected food that the colony worked so hard for into some water, and it cannot be salvaged because girl, ants can't swim. Or maybe they can, I don't know. Of course the grasshoppers were pissed because that's some of their meals that they was relying on. They needed them. Like, of course they could hunt for food them damn selves, but why do that? We had these freaking small puny ants, duh. Flick of course felt bad because now his whole colony is being threatened by these crusty ass grasshoppers, but he left the colony to find fighters that will help defeat the grasshoppers if need be, because the grasshoppers was making some threats, and Flick, he didn't want to take no chance, so he was like, let me go get reinforcements pretty much. Flick eventually found people at Bug City, and he did not know this. Unknowingly, he recruited circus acts. But I ain't gonna lie, they kept with their whole facade. They did a good job. They blended right in. Look, I felt confidence in them too. He brought them back to their little colony, and they went ahead and taught them how to collect food, trained them for a possible grasshopper invasion and everything and whatnot. And they seemed to get along with the ants. They lived in harmony. The other bugs and the ants, they just had a whole good system together. It was good morale for everybody. The ants started to build a fake bird just in case they needed to trick the grasshoppers. That was one of their plan B's, plan A's, whatever you want to call it. Later on in the movie, we flash to the Grasshopper's camp. You fucking donkey. And they were mentioning that the ants, even though they were puny in size by themselves, individually, take a look at them compared to grasshopper. But if they counted the ant and grasshopper ratio, ants outnumber the grasshoppers 100 to 1. Think about that. Yes, they may be puny in size, but if they unite and come together and fight as one, grasshoppers have a problem in their hands. And that's how I feel about our society, but whatever, I'm just gonna ignore that.
Oh, shut up, nigga.
The grasshoppers weren't returning to the ant colony solely for food, but they were returning to keep the ants from figuring out how powerful they truly were. They kept suppressing the ants. They kept reminding them how weak and small they were. They had a system to control these ants to do whatever they want them to do and bend at their will, and whatever threats that they had, the ants took it wholeheartedly, and that's why they abide by their rules to keep and appease these grasshoppers. That's literally what they were doing. Mind control, it's crazy. Fast forward, the ants did not collect enough food in time. Since they didn't collect enough food, they activated Plan B, which was that fake bird. They used it, which angered the grasshoppers. The grasshoppers expressed their dissatisfaction of the ants. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them fear for their lives. However, later on that scene, Flick, the main ant in this whole movie, he had a response to Hopper, which was the main grasshopper. And pretty much Flick said ants are not meant to serve grasshoppers. I've seen these ants do great things. They somehow managed to pick enough food for themselves and you. So who's the weaker species? Ants don't need grasshoppers. It's you who need us. And you know it, don't you? Girl, and he does. He does. And I didn't take this wholeheartedly when I was a kid because it's, you know, movie about some ants. But as I got older, I was like, yeah, That's exactly right. You know how much stuff we can do if we all could just band together and not be apart? But unfortunately, the way the world works, the way rules are set in place, the way that the powers that be is puppeteering everything, they want us to stay apart because they know with numbers, we would change it around. I'm not gonna lie, there's lots that we could change if we all could just band together, shut the fuck up, and stop bickering. After this confrontation with the grasshoppers and ants, pretty much an all-out battle ensues, and the ants and the bugs team up together and defeated the grasshoppers. It was so beautiful. It was just wonderful. And that last death scene of Hopper, it was glorious. It was glorious. I hope he served as a fabulous meal for the whole bird family. You hope. Ants are the workers. They work hard for their protection, work hard for their comfortability, and just live. They work hard to just live. And the grasshoppers do not want to do any of the work. They do not want to help the ant situations. They don't want to see them prosper. They just want them to serve them. However, the ants make it work for them. The ants get the bare minimum or get nothing at all. And the ants expected to be grateful for the grasshoppers. The Ant-American dream. But what makes me appreciate this movie is that towards the end, the ants eventually knew how strong they were together. And knew how smart they were without the grasshoppers. And they understand now how to protect themselves and feed themselves, and they don't need any outside help or any outside influence to run their colony because they run it smoothly. So they may be small but mighty, but they're a force to be reckoned with.